Do you know where your best clients come from? We were talking about this the other day, a colleague and we were just sharing how our best clients have come from people that we've gotten to interact with in some way. For example, in a networking meeting or going to a networking event or setting up calls just to chat and get to know people, all kinds of ways where you can have some one-on-one conversations with people or just be in the same space so you can relax and get to know each other without any sort of pressure of who's got to perform for the other and all of that stuff. So, this is one of the best ways to develop those relationships that will often turn into clients or collaboration or referral partners. And yet it takes a long time to do this. So if you're busy in your business and you're thinking like, "Oh my God, I've got to carve out time for going to this networking event this evening or going to this workshop this afternoon," or whatever it may be, that can be hard to do, right? When you're really busy. But here's the thing. We all need to be in places where our ideal clients are hanging out, and they hang out everywhere. Okay. The one of the questions that always comes up is, where are my ideal people? Frankly, they're everywhere. Does that mean you need to be everywhere? Not exactly, but kinda. I always recommend saying yes to the networking events or when someone wants to have a chat with you, maybe the virtual coffee chat, or they want to meet up with you in real life within reason, right? You can use some of your good judgment and filters and stay away from those red flags. But saying yes to those opportunities, even when you don't know exactly what is the outcome of this event going to be or this conversation, it puts you in this flow state of being in conversations with people. And you can learn so much about your market, your marketing, how you are showing up in front of people. So much of good stuff can happen, right? But again, it takes quite a bit of time. It's an investment of time for sure. So when it is feeling really hard to do those things, then that's when the tendency to lean on other forms of marketing really comes into play. Social media or sending out emails, direct messaging, doing other bigger types of marketing things like maybe running a podcast or going on a speaker circuit or things like that, right? Those are all great. But I will tell you that the number one place to find clients and the place where you're always going to be closest to the money is in those relationships that you have with people. And those relationships we require like you showing up in real time nurturing. Okay, so we all need this. Even volume based businesses, even when you're running a volume based business model, as many content creators, course creators, those digital product people, those people are running high volume based businesses. They still need to have relationships with those key partners in their model. Now, for those of us who are running low volume, high ticket business models, as are most of us as service professionals, those relationships become even more important. And still, not everyone is ready to buy, right? So it would take a while to develop those relationships and nurture those relationships. So what does that mean? That means we still need reach. We still need visibility. And so there are different ways to extend reach, to extend visibility, to be in places where people are, even when you physically can't be present, right? So this is where all the different channels of marketing come into play. But here's the thing that I want you to think about in all of this, because there are lots of different opportunities for marketing. If I've said it once before, I'm going to say it a million times. You are closest to the money with those relationships that you have with people already and nurturing those relationships. That is your layer one marketing, and that is the kind of marketing that you always need to do. But where is the leverage in all of that, right? I want you to think about you're spending two things. You're either going to spend money to extend your reach and your visibility and have leverage in that, or you're going to spend your time. One or the other. It's an expense. It's a good expense. It's an investment, right? You're going to get a return on that investment in more ways than just bringing on new clients or collaborating with cool people. There's lots of other benefits that come with that, but there's an investment in either way. So you can't do any of it without making an investment in either time or money. So let me break this down a little bit more. Now, you can look at investing money in order to save yourself time. And this is where things like paid reach come into play. Now, the number one thing that most people think about with paid reach is advertising. But right now, at this point in time, advertising, especially if you're going to do Facebook advertising or LinkedIn advertising, it's pretty expensive. For the average service professional who doesn't necessarily have a separate ads budget, it's pretty expensive. That's not necessarily a viable channel for a lot of people. But here's another paid reach thing that I want you to think about that you might not be really considering, and that is the programs that you are in, the places where you are in the room with other people who might need your services, in the way that you might invest in a coaching program or a group that's really centered around productivity and accountability, whatever it may be. You might even just join a program that's focused on building something for your business. I've invested in lots of coaching programs over the year and continue to do so, because not only am I getting to learn and improve myself and make my business better, my life better, all of that good stuff, but I also am developing relationships with people who oftentimes do end up becoming clients. In fact, if I look back over some of the biggest programs that I've invested in, I've almost entirely recouped my costs just in the relationships that I built. Now, of course, that's not the reason why I'm going into those spaces, but it is a strategic way to look at your investment in your own learning and professional development, and the power of being in rooms like coaching programs and consulting programs where there are other people. I run programs myself, and I have seen over the years many of my own clients that are in programs, in my programs and in rooms with each other, working with each other. And I absolutely love that. So I want you to think about that as a really viable option for your paid reach. And how can that money that you're investing actually work even harder for you, right? When you're considering that not only are you getting great professional development, hopefully, right? Hopefully you're in a good program and learning and being supported, and you're also getting exposed to people who may become your clients. So if you think about it that way, it may influence where you do want to show up, right? And if you're considering going into some type of group programs, or what the fee is to be in the room with people who may be your ideal client. So think about that. Now, on the investment of time in your business, of course, that is, I would argue, even more precious than the money that we spend. And many people, again, are not necessarily in a position where we've got the money, but you might have the time. Now, sometimes you may be like, I don't have the money or the time. You still have to make a choice between what you're going to invest. And I'm hoping that you're not in a position where you are having to invest both time and money at the same time in the same equal amounts, because that's where it can get tricky. I don't know. One could argue that you might be at a point in your business where you need to do that. Sometimes there's a season in your business where you really got to go all in. I got to put in some money and I got to put in some time. You might actually be on the build timeline. That's one of the 3 timelines I talk about that are often happening in people's businesses. So I just want you to think about your investment of time and money and how that's influencing where you show up, when you show up, and how you're showing up in your marketing, so that those things, those efforts can do more for you. If you have any other questions about this, or if you have thoughts yourself about the time and or money that you have spent on marketing and what that's done for you, I'd love to hear that. Please put that information in the comments, and I'll catch you again in another video. All right, bye-bye.